guys, I got a tripod. We are going to be talking about items that are really simple to add to your daily routine that minimize your negative impact on the environment. They produce less waste, and overall they are more sustainable options to everyday choices. So they are longer lasting and they are more practical. So let's start off with number one, glass water bottle. Reusable water bottles are a really simple and easy choice to make into your everyday. Using a water filter, or if you have clean tap water in the area that you live in. If you don't, then really invest in a water filter. Could be any type. Make sure you do your research to find one that fits you and what you're looking for. But the amount of plastic bottles that we use is really crazy, and that all goes back into the earth, and plastic releases really harmful chemicals into the earth, and then we get what we need from the earth. We get our food, we get our meat from the earth, that eats the grass, and if that grass is contaminated with plastic and then we eat that meat or we eat those vegetables, that negatively impacts us as well. So we really have to think about these decisions long term. Glass water bottles are really great because they're biodegradable. Glass is biodegradable, so when it goes back into the earth, it has a very minimal negative impact, if any at all. And this one has a silicone wrapping, and it also has a plastic top. If you can find one that does not have a silicone wrapping or a plastic top, that would be better. The silicone wrapping though is kind of important if you want your glass bottle to be long lasting. You don't want it to break on you all the time. So just look into the options that are best for you. If it has like a wooden cap, maybe that would be better than a plastic one. Glass water bottles really reduce the amount of plastic that we use in our day, and they're really easy to use. So a glass water bottle and a water filter can do so much for the environment beneficially, and it also is easier now because we have a lot of water refilling stations in a lot of areas. Gyms and yoga studios and schools, are all starting to implement water filters so that you can refill your water on the go. I know that was really important for me when I was in college. We had water refill stations. It made a huge difference in the amount of plastic that I was throwing away and the waste that I was producing. So let's move on to the next thing. Another option, which is bamboo. So bamboo is really great because, again, when it does eventually have to go into the trash, landfill, what have you, it is less impactful on the earth than, say, something plastic would be. These are bamboo utensils, and these utensils are really great because you can just stick them in your bag, your purse, your backpack, whatever, your pocket, and you don't have to use plastic utensils. Plastic utensils create a lot of waste, and they're so easy to use. You just grab it, use it, and you toss it. And that's really what we're looking for in our lifestyle, is convenience and easy access. All you have to do is rinse it off when you're done, or wipe it down with a napkin if you're still on the go, and it's all good. Preferably not wiping it down with a napkin, just because that creates more waste. But yeah, just rinse it off, and then you're good to go. It goes in this little carry container, which is really awesome. It's a really simple way to produce less waste in your day. You'd be surprised how many times you use plastic, especially if you are consistently on the go, if you work a lot, or if you're in school. Using plastic is almost something that we don't really think about because it's so easy to do. So when you have something like that on you, it's great because you don't really realize how much you use these things until you have the additional option with you to use instead. So the next thing that is bamboo is a brush. So this is a hairbrush, and this is made from bamboo. It is really strong and sturdy, a lot more sturdy than plastic hairbrushes would be, and it's also sustainable, so it lasts a lot longer. You're not gonna have to continuously throw them out and get new ones, which is the issue with plastic. It's good for a certain amount of time, very short amount of time, then we have to throw it away. It ends up in a landfill, chemicals, toxins, things like that. Things that we don't want in the earth. So using bamboo is really awesome, very helpful. This is a hairbrush, obviously, but there's also bamboo toothbrushes, which are really great too, and they have the same sustainable lifespan. They're sturdy, but they're long lasting, but when you do have to throw them away, they have less of an impact on the earth because they are safely biodegradable. Next is I'm going to be talking about beauty products, because or just, self-hygiene products or maintenance products. Self-care products and hygiene products are mostly in plastic. So I'm talking about Lush for this specific instance because they have a really awesome recycling program. You can recycle any of their bins when you're done with them, any of these little tubs. You can give back to the store and they will wash them and reuse them for their next customer, which is really, really amazing. So many companies are starting to have these options now. So if you can look into maybe your company having a recycling program, maybe they outsource their recycling to another facility that recycles it for them, or they accept their bins back like Lush does. So if more companies were to make this transition, we would have so much less waste. And another really good way to go about this is DIY, so making your own. It does sound a little bit tasking at first, but it is really so simple and easy. I use a water and baking soda solution or baking powder. That cleans my scalp. It makes it really super easy, and I can use a lot of it without having to buy so much. I also use apple cider diluted with water for my hair, apple cider vinegar, and that cleanses and conditions my hair. It works really, really well for my hair type, so try it out for yours as well. It's super easy, super low maintenance. I just put it in a cup, bring it in the shower. Not exactly like that, but and that's all it takes. I'm not constantly using a plastic bottle that needs to be thrown away or something like that, or needs to be recycled. Even if something needs to be recycled, today we are looking for options to produce zero waste because we are in this situation when the environment is taking a very rapid turn in a negative way. And by producing less waste and avoiding recycling at all, that really is less impactful. So either DIY or when you have self-care products, to find if they have like any kind of recycling program or a reusable program. The next option is for periods. So for your menstrual cycle. I do talk about the menstrual cup in 2 other videos, so if you wanted to know more in depth about this, you can always check out those 2 videos. The menstrual cup I like a lot because you don't have to you don't produce any waste. You just insert it inside of you and then you keep reusing it throughout your period. So you dump it, you reinsert it for as long as your period is. When I was using organic menstrual period products, I found that I was throwing out a lot of waste. Even though, it's cotton, biodegradable, things like that, I would just prefer to not use anything that produces waste at all. I would rather go with something that you don't have to throw anything away. You have one, use it, it's reusable. So this is a better option for me, and I think this is a really great option for anyone who's looking to produce less waste and to have a positive environmental impact, which should be everyone. Anyways, what else do I have here? So going along with the reusable glass bottle, there's also reusable glass food storage. Instead of Tupperwares and plastic, they're just not durable plastic. And then you also have to throw them away. You constantly have to throw them away and get new ones. So when I am storing my food, I really like to use glass food containers, food storage. They are a little bit heavier if you're traveling, but overall the impact on the earth is so minimal when you're using glass, and it is so much better than having to buy tons of plastic containers throughout your life. Instead, you can just have this one set of all different kinds of glass containers and they last so long. Also, another great thing about food storage is that you can get, instead of using Ziploc bags or plastic food storage bags, you now have the option to have different cloth or beeswax food storage wraps and bags and things like that. I'm not really sure how sustainable the beeswax ones are. I haven't researched it that much, but I know that there are other options other than plastic. So instead of plastic Tupperware, plastic bags, you can always use glass or cloth, and those things are going to have minimal negative impact on the environment, and they're going to be so much longer lasting. I know that we really aim for convenience in our culture, but sometimes we have to make a little bit of sacrifice if we really want to make where we live a better place, if we want to have a high quality living for ourselves and also our future, because the negative impacts are catching up with us so much faster than we predicted in the beginning. So it's really important to be making just these tiny little sacrifices, even if it's not the most convenient or if it's not the easiest, it's not the lightest. You know, it's important to be making those switches just because it's good. It's a good thing. So anyway, also when shopping, I always use a reusable bag. I have like canvas totes or cloth totes or recycled plastic totes, you know, things that you could take to the store with you, and you don't have to use plastic and you don't have to use paper. That we now have a tax on plastic here in New York, plastic bags. I know that they are banned in certain areas of California. We should be banning them everywhere because plastic bags are horrible. And so are paper bags, just because there's so much pollution in creating paper bags as well. And it also creates waste. So really what we want to do is, you know, use other bags to purchase your food. It's not a big deal. I remember them because I always keep them in my front seat. So whenever I have to get out, I see them, I grab them and I go. Yeah, these are just some really easy ways that you can add simple, they're just very little changes that you can add into your day that make a really big difference positively in the environment. You are becoming more self-aware, more mindful, and of your decisions, of your choices, and overall that's going to transform or translate into other areas of your life. You're going to be more mindful about other decisions that you make for yourself that are ultimately going to benefit you. When we have to think and second guess before just grabbing some plastic and throwing it away and going on about our day, when we have to be more mindful about the decisions that we have to make, we become more self-aware, and that can really, you know, build very healthy habits in our brain that can really strengthen our brain to slow down a little bit more, pause, think. And you know, at first you're thinking, how does a reusable glass bottle make me a more mindful person? You know, it's not an instant thing, but gradually it will, because you're going to be more mindful about the decisions that you make. And it's in a really simple way. It's not something that you have to dramatically change your life to achieve, and you're still making a positive impact on the environment and on yourself and in your community. So these are just some very simple changes that you can make. Really work with your resources that you have, you know, start to understand the guidelines of your community's recycling center. If you have farms, local farms that you can volunteer at and get free food in trade for work, instead of having to buy a bunch of plastic and boxes for your food, you know, that's an amazing choice that you can make. These little things all start to add up, and they start to reduce our impact that is negative on the earth and on the environment on our future. So these are just some really simple things that you can add into your life that are very beneficial. I hope that they were helpful. If you have any other things that I didn't touch on, I would really love to hear them in the comments below. Be well, guys. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!